Well, welcome everybody. Hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. It was good to have a month of not 9 million things going on at once, but
only 6.
As you all know, this Saturday, or most of you know anyway, this Saturday is our club ride, and we're going out to Cherry Creek. Does anybody that's going, does everybody understand where we're meeting at?
It's the same place as last year, the last time?
Yeah. Yeah, once you turn off Highway 6 at the Little Sahara Recreation turnoff, you just keep going west. Don't take the road that takes you into Little Sahara. Just keep going west about 7 miles. You're going to come to a kiosk there, one that the club helped build a couple years ago. Right after the kiosk, there's a cattle guard there, and then you'll see the area on the right-hand side where we usually park, right there. There are directions on the Facebook page. If you just click on the event and go there, it'll show you. I'm going to try to I'll try to pin it, get a drop pin put up. I was trying to do it the other day when I made the event, but it wouldn't let me do it for some reason. So after about 30 minutes of fighting with it, I just gave up. Yeah. So it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory to find. It is about a 2-hour drive from West Jordan to there. So be there ready to ride at 10 o'clock. So make sure you bring lunch and drinks, appropriate clothing for the weather. You don't know what we're going to get. It's supposed to, from what I've seen, it's supposed to be around 40 degrees. So that's not too bad. It'll probably be pretty cool in the morning and warm up, fairly warm by the time we get back to the trucks that day. Of course, upon returning to the trucks, we will we'll be having chili and soup there to warm everybody up and have a chance to chat. So we'll just start out. We're going to go over the list. We had our first board meeting two weeks ago, and we planned our rides for this year. I don't know whether you've all had a chance to see it or not, but February 15th, we're going down to Fillmore. We're going to go out to the Lavitubes, maybe out on the Pamont Butte there a little bit, do some riding around that area. We don't have, again, none of these rides we have particulars put up on the Facebook page. They're just dates to be aware of. And March, we're going to go down to Moab. That'll be a 2-day ride. Be the March 20th and 21st. So we will be camping or hotel. We will get that event created here just as soon as possible so people can make their plans, but you do have the dates. April 18th, we're going to go back out. We're going to go out to Lookout Pass, do some riding out there, go out toward Simpson Springs area, around through Little Valley where we didn't make it last year because of the snow drifts. June 20th, we have, or no, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. May 15th and 16th, we're going to go down to Kanab. I know most of you know that's one of my favorite places in the area, in the state to ride. Kanab is just absolutely gorgeous. Got some fantastic trails. My plan is to do the Barrett's Trail one day and do the Mail Drop Loop another day. We will For those that camp, we will be camping down by Coral Pink Sand Dunes. It's the Elephant Butte Trailhead, or Elephant Cove Trailhead area. There's some big area there to camp. For those that stay at a motel, you've got two choices. You can either stay at Mount Carmel Junction, or you can stay in Kanab. Either way, it's probably about a 15 to 20 mile drive from town to where we'll be staging at. So it's not a terrible far drive for those that do have to stay in motels. June 20th, depending upon the weather, really how the rest of the winter goes in the snowpack, we're going to attempt Daniel Summit and head towards Stillwater Dam. This will be June 20th again. If we did the full loop to Stillwater Dam, it's about a 140-mile loop, so we'll probably shorten that up a little bit, maybe only go as far as Current Creek Reservoir area. We'll have to play that by ear. And again, all of these rides are subject to change due to weather, especially the ones that are early spring, late fall. They tend to be a little bit more susceptible to the other problems. July 12th or 17th and 18th, we're going to go down to Manti. We did this ride 2 years ago. It was a very popular ride. We're going to ride up on the Arapeen Trail system. Again, that's a Friday, Saturday ride. August 15th and 16th is the Ride for Life. It's our annual Make-A-Wish ride from Brownsville to Wendover and back. So just be aware of that. We're still in planning stages and stuff, but hopefully we'll have applications and stuff ready here within the next month. That's what we're shooting for. September 18th and 19th, we're going to go to Farron, do Joe's Valley, and in the western side of the Arapeen Trail system in September. October, we're going to go back down to Tickaboo. That was a very popular ride last year. It was overwhelmingly voted to do it again this year. So it is October 16th and 17th. And then our final ride of the year, we have scheduled for Hardware Ranch in November 14th. Again, that's very susceptible to, I don't think we're going to have an issue as far as early snowfall keeping us out of there, but it is a possibility. So that could change at any given time. So, and of course, December there is no ride. Does anybody have any questions on any of the rides, any locations or anything? Again, the ones, especially the ones that are long distance, 2-day rides, we'll get those events created right shortly here, so you have the information for you set up motel rooms and things if you need them. The biggest thing, we want you to know the area where we're riding in that. I will be camping in Moab. I'm thinking we're going to be probably over off Yabinki Wells Road. I think that's probably the area where we're going to camp. It's right local to several trails and that, so you can ride right from camp and do do a lot of different trails there. No, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you turn towards Canyonlands. Yeah, you turn towards Canyonlands, but then there's a turnoff. It's kind of over in the,
It's over by the dinosaur tracks.
yeah, it's what, west of Pusher Tunnel area? Yeah. My mind's gone blank. I'm trying to think of the trails down there. Yeah. Yeah, it's over in the 7 Mile Rim area.
3 miles past
There is a very large area that you can camp right there. A lot of room for all of us that camp, and not too far of a drive for people that hotel it. The outdoor off-road or off-road expo, Salt Lake Off-Road Expo, is going to be February 28th and 29th here at the Southtown Expo Center, whatever they call it these days. We will have a booth there. The club and the Ride for Life will have a booth there. And I will also be there with the Utah OHV Association. We'll be right there with Karen. So if anybody can help out with manning the booth on Friday and Saturday for a couple hours each day. So yeah, well, I'll get something figured out here, but just be aware. So, okay. We have a guest here tonight, somebody that I've really come to consider a good friend and a good friend of the club that helps us out every year with the Ride for Life. Roxanne T is with the BLM, and I kind of told you at our November meeting that we were going to be planning a work party, a service project out at Knowles. So she's come here tonight and kind of talk to us a little bit about what she has planned.
Put me on the spot?
You're on the spot.
I guess so. Well, use your microphone, even though I'm not used to speaking in microphones. But Stephen has been really pleasant to work with, and I appreciate you guys inviting me to speak with y'all tonight and to your club meeting. I think it's been a few years since I came when you were in a different location. Can you guys hear me okay? It's kind of a loud building, so sorry about that. Anyway, so I guess just to give you guys a gist of why I'm here is Stephen and I have been able to work together on getting the Ride for Life up as far as requirements for permit that the BLM requires, and that's been a really good learning experience for he and I to go through, and I really thank you for all that. And I know it's hard because your club fees are going to valuable things that you guys do. So, but those are the requirements of permits and whatnot. On the more positive side of funding and fees is we've been working together quite closely on getting grants. He's applying for some grants on behalf of the club, and well, BLM has applied for a grant. Federal agencies don't get to apply for very many grants. Clubs and state and county entities are really what grants are set up for, but we can partner on those things. And so I'm here tonight basically to say that we're open and available to partner on grants in the future. If you guys have great ideas, bring them to your leadership. And also to beg for some help. Often these grants come with a 50-50 match. That match can be in-kind donations, as in the community donates funding or time. And I'm not asking for your funding, I'm asking for some time. So I'm looking for volunteers, and I'm looking for people to commit to do some, maybe not so fun as a club ride, but I know you're scheduling a lot of fun adventures, and you guys get out and socialize. And Stephen tells me you guys love to give back to your community, and so that's what I'm here for tonight. It's asking you guys to come up with a date that we could meet out at Knowles. One of those weekends you're not doing fun stuff, and we can come up with a project. It might be dirty work, it might be cold and windy like it often is at Knowles, but I'm hoping to recruit some help, and that help will be in the form of a matching grant from State Parks, which we already did receive, but we have to prove it up by having the volunteers show up, and that's what those grants are intended to do, is get people involved and then show that we're working together on these partnerships. So they're not always really easy to get, as Stephen knows. He's applying for some right now, and we're hoping that they come through. But I'm happy that we got this one out at Knowles, and we're going to be redesigning that entrance area out there. I know Knowles is maybe not where you guys, number one, prefer to ride, but that's where we get a lot of impact from riders, and that's how you guys can give back to the bigger riding community as a whole. So that's at least my perspective on that. And I'm going to hang out, and if you guys have questions for me, I'll be around after Stephen's done talking. But does anybody have anything right now they want to ask or comment or call me names?
What are you planning? What do you want the labor for? What's the idea? Like, I've got some equipment and stuff, the skid steer.
Oh, great. Good question. So primarily right now, I just have to prove up my end of the grant by having a certain number of people for a certain number of hours, right? And it's not a huge commitment. I think when I calculated the monetary value, it was like 10 people for 8 hours a day, or, for 8 hours in one day, just to get that 50-50 quarterly match. So the federal government has like a dollar value on the worth of a volunteer, and it's like somewhere around $26, which I think is pretty high, but that's great, right?
It's $24.99.
Thank you. It's almost $26. So we don't have trails out at Knowles. If you've been out there, it's an open riding area that we manage. So primarily I'm looking for really easy basic stuff. Cleaning up trash is one of the things. Breaking down fire rings. As you know, fire pits are required out there. And we do get a lot of construction waste. People have strong magnets. We can take out a lot of nails from the sand out there. If you guys have ever been out there and gotten a flat, that might be your passion. I do have a project later that we'll be doing the redesign, but right now I'm just looking to fulfill my commitment to State Parks and get those volunteer hours in. If you guys are interested in doing more work and elsewhere, I just work in the Salt Lake office in the West Desert. But at least in my area, I'm happy to entertain future projects. If you guys have, sounds like you have equipment and more means than I do to do bigger projects, and I'd love to take on bigger projects if that is something that you have the means for. But I can't ask. So if we have some need, and we're going to have some need later. But right now, I just want to do the easy stuff and pick up trash and do feel good kind of volunteer day out at Knowles. So does that answer your question? Kind of?
Yes, kind of.
Go ahead.
I've got another question.
Sure.
I've gone out there a couple of times, and I'm not from Utah, but one of the things that struck me as strange about Knowles is there's a fee to get in.
Correct.
If you drive past the first parking.
Well, sort of. So by the way, your
it's
accent
kinda
gives you
first
away that you're not from here.
The first time I went there, I put the money in the envelope, parked up there in the restroom. And the second time, it's like my buddy goes, "Hey, wait, park outside here." And so we did that.
So I didn't write the plan for the area, but I will tell you the exact language that's in it. And it's each primary vehicle that enters into the Knowles Recreation Area has to pay the $10 per primary vehicle per day. So $10 primary vehicle per day. And if you park outside and then drive 2 vehicles in, those are considered primary vehicles.
Okay.
So it's all how it's worded. So it's actually not legal to park a vehicle outside and then drive. I mean, then you have to pay twice.
I'll catch you next time.
Okay, I'm sure.
Where is it?
I'm not the law enforcement, I'm just the rec planner.
Where does that money go?
So that money goes for Knowles primarily to grade that road. Every year I get that road graded. We have a, unfortunately, very expensive contract to clean those bathrooms out there. So you weren't here in the 70s, I can tell by your accent, because it's still lingering. But I grew up here, and I'm sure some of y'all, I know Stephen was out there when I was just a kid, but I went out there as a kid, and it was not in good condition, I'll tell you that. If any of y'all remember, it was a very treacherous place, not only to ride, but to visit. So BLM's management of that area has really cleaned it up quite a bit, I would say. But you're asking primarily, where does the money go? And it goes to those 2 things primarily every year. That contract is very expensive. If anybody ever wants to outbid the contractor that we have there, I'd be happy to have another person bid on it. And then part of it does go to my wage, and then our law enforcement officer's wage as well. We have a lot of interesting things happen out there as well. Question in the back?
Yeah. Now, if you got your national senior pass,
Correct.
then it's half price to get in, right?
That's correct. Seniors do get half off if you have your national park pass, and those are available in our office in West Valley if you don't have one. Did you have a follow-up question as well?
Where is your office?
Oh, 2370 West, Decker Lake Boulevard, so it's in West Valley. Yeah. I do. I have an idea what month I'd like to do the cleanup. That was the question. I would like to do March, April, or June. So I'm leaving it kind of open to you guys' availability. Like I said, I don't need the whole crew to show up, but it would be nice to get like 15 to 20 people at least that can commit for a full 6 to 8 hour day. So I know you guys have some rides spattered in there. I think there's Easter in there somewhere. I think, what else? Oh, Utah Desert Foxes has an event out there. That's going to be April 25th, so I wouldn't want to do it on April 25th.
After 26th.
Good point. No, they're pretty good, but I could probably recruit them for help as well if we don't get enough people. But I thought I'd start with your group and then maybe do a separate event with their group to keep it simple. Stephen's suggesting April 4th. I'm not sure. I think that might be spring break for those of you that still have kids. I don't know. But anyway, I'm open and available. It's the weekend before Easter, I believe. Easter's the 12th. So the Saturday, not right before Easter, but the
Weekend before, Saturday before Easter.
So we have to pay the fee to get in. I'm busy that day.
I think we'll be able to work something out. So what if we tentatively put on the calendar April 4th as a volunteer day, and we set, what do you guys think, 9:30 a.m.? How early do you guys usually meet for your rides? 10? All right, 10 o'clock, Knowles, April 4th. How does that sound for you guys? If that changes, I'm open to other options, but right now we'll hold it as April 4th. Thanks, you guys. Any other questions for me before I sit down? So let's see, I'm guessing most of you guys are from the Salt Lake area, so we'll say that you start driving at 8 a.m. So
10 to
like 3:30. I think it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to drive out there. Unless you're you, I can tell you have a lead foot.
I'm talking about how long you plan on having work.
I would like to do a full day. If you guys can't commit a full day, we'll do another event.
So you're talking about an 8-hour day start, I can't.
I mean, what do you guys normally do when you ride?
Right.
I know, it's a little different than just riding, but like, you can ride all around and just pick up
Depends on who's
trash.
He's leaving to be like 8-hour days.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's why I'm afraid to join your club. It's way on.
Well, what I'm wondering is, would this be an event you want to bring our machines with us, or we just come out there and plan to work on them?
Yeah, you want.
I would plan on bringing your machines because they're, I mean, the Knolls is a pretty vast area. And what's really funny is the further you get away from the camping areas, the more trash you find. Especially on those far southwest corner, it seems to be like, I don't know if the wind blows everything there or people just go out there and dump their crap, but that's, so I would plan on bringing a machine and you can, you know, a couple of
Yeah, I
things we
think
can
last
do.
time we went up
But-
out there, we picked up like 6 garbage bags
Yeah,
for a beer
yeah,
can.
that was in a couple hours.
A beer can.
That was in a couple hours, so. One thing to remember is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the volunteer hours actually start from when you leave your home.
Let's get mandates for the unit.
So really for an 8-hour day, if you leave your home at 8 o'clock and you're out there at 10, you've already put in 2 hours.
Those 2 hours go back home.
So I would figure, I would figure on being there till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Little girl in the back?
Will we put those hours towards our grant also?
No.
Ah,
Unfortunately, you can't double count, but I think.
that would be good.
I'm not too concerned about our volunteer
No.
hours for our grant.
No.
After figuring what our volunteer hours were last year.
So Chris Haller is who we report to, as you all probably know, he's the state OHP coordinator, that's how we get those grants. And I don't think he would appreciate us both counting those hours, but I think they'd really like to see those partnerships come together, where federal agencies, state agencies, and clubs are all working together on a common goal. So that's when they really like to reward.
Did I hear you say you're not a member?
Sorry.
You're not a
No,
member?
she's
Did I-
not.
I'm
November.
not, sorry.
Do you have $25?
Don't forget.
Yeah.
It's way too hard.
Bring your check ATV.
Have a work ATV. So there is one caveat to him asking y'all to bring your ATVs is, my manager is a stickler. So I'm not sure if I can sign y'all up and cover you under workman's comp while you're in your ATV. So we might have to rein it in a little bit, but we'll figure out a way to get those hours in. And
Will we have to pay for the primary vehicle?
I knew I was gonna get hit.
Yeah. I'm on
This is a rough crowd.
No, it's cool. I am used to it. Anywhere you tell people you work for BLM.
So are you responsible for myself?
I am, yes. Okay, I'll stick around. There's 3 of us in the office that do recreation-related activities. I primarily have Western Tooele County and Western Box Elder County is how we have it broken up, so I'm familiar with that area. Any other questions for me right now? Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to him and then I'll swing out. No? You guys are gonna let me off that easy, huh? Thank you.
And I've said this time again, everybody knows how I feel about this. These guys, like she said, there's 3 up in the office that covers what, basically Tooele, Box Elder, and 3.2 million acres. If we're not out there helping to take care of it, it doesn't get taken care of, and then pretty soon it gets shut down because it gets so, loaded with trash, or, people unfortunately, we got idiots that like to go out and vandalize the bathrooms and things like that. It just, you know, it ruins it for all of us. So, you know, the first time we ever met, you know, I introduced myself and I said, "What can I do for you?" It isn't a one-way street, you know. She has helped out a ton with the Ride for Life and the permits and stuff. And sometimes the BLM gets a bad name, and it's not necessarily fair. There are a few individuals that I know that I won't stick up for, but more often than not, they're just doing their job that's been dictated to them by the people in Washington. And we've kind of bantered back and forth a little bit about, you know, the permit fees and this and that. But at the end of the day, I know it's not her decision. She's just following her job, you know. So the more we can partner and build relationships with the BLM, the Forest Service, the better off we are as off-road recreationists, because then, you know, when we give back to them, they're more willing to help out with us. So it's a good thing for us. And again, like I said, I challenged from day one when I became president of this club. I challenged everybody in the club to do at least one service project a year. That's not a lot. That's pretty minimal. You know, on average, I usually do about 3. But it's still.
It's good for us against some.
Yeah, it would be good press if we could ever get the press to report it.
You get the center, I'll get the
We
front.
just want to get ready for
No chainsaws needed at Knowles, but if we do.
There's some tough cactus out there.
So,
It's all the same.
so we, you know, and anytime I will always try to post anytime that I see service projects. I know they usually do one out at 5 Mile Pass in the spring. I would imagine they'll try to do one again. But anytime I see work projects with Forest Service or the BLM and that, we try to get them posted so people can know and can go help if they can. You know, I know that not everybody can on every day, but you can make a little bit of a small contribution whenever you can. It all adds up. Hey, John Campbell, come up here for a minute. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you haven't been with the club very long, one thing you're going to find out, when you make a mistake, nobody lets you live it down. We memorialize it forever.
Especially this club.
Bad John.
And on the way down to Tickaboo last year, a few of us decided we would stop at Temple Mountain and make a quick run. And well, we did the buddy system at the turns where you stop at the turn and wait for the person behind you. We were most of the way through the ride, and I had 3 machines left with me, and where the hell was everybody else?
Help them, they can't keep up.
Bad John.
So after I backtracked, I finally found, and John had neglected to wait at a turn. John was one of the ones that was with me. So he got the nickname Bad John. So luckily I had some stickers made up for him to memorialize it.
Those better be on your machine on the next ride.
And again, it's all in fun. It's never, it's never malicious. But yeah, if you mess up, you will.
It wasn't his first ride like some of us.
No, it wasn't John's first ride. It wasn't his first rodeo.
And being search and rescue, you think you'd know better. Hey, now.
So,
Taking an alternative.
Bill Perry, you're up next.
I didn't do anything wrong this time.
Oh, don't underestimate yourself. At the Christmas party, there was a pretty popular gift that got passed around and stolen from person to person. I had this and Bill stole it from me. And it got stolen from him. He was not a happy camper. So we decided we better get Little Willie his own machete to carry on his machine.
Get on a sticker, dude. You only get one
No, he's donuts. He's actually donuts. Yeah. Yeah. For
Donuts the cat.
Cat that run out in front of him and caused him to roll his machine. It wasn't the donuts we were spinning, it was the cat.
Gotta save the wildlife.
BS. BS. Yeah. He missed the best ride because he got hurt.
So, as is custom, I see we got some new faces here, and I'm just going to ask people to stand up and introduce themselves to the club. What kind of machine do you have? Where did you hear about us? I'm going to start over here with this young couple.
I'm Bob Hayes. This is my wife Alice. And we have a Polaris 1000 XP. And heard about it on.
I just saw yours, I think you ride for life last year.
Okay. Plus you met Larry and Sue at the Outlaw Jamboree, I believe. Well, welcome. Bruce.
I'm Bruce Huntington, and I learned of your group through Brett Stewart and Steve Hawkins. I drive Turbo S. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad to be here.
Bruce is actually the one that founded the UTV Alliance group that we partnered up with to address, whatever issues that we're facing in the state. He's also become involved with the Utah OHV Association, which I'm chairman of. So he's very excited to get involved in different things, and that's really good to see, because so many people want to sit on the sidelines and not be involved at all. So I see.
Raise your hand.
Oh, there he is. I knew I'd seen one other person, but he was right behind George. I couldn't see him.
My name is Steve Hooker. I have a Honda Rubicon, and I saw some information on the website. If anybody has tracks for their ATV, I'd love to talk to
Yeah, it's pretty wild out there. Well, welcome to all the new members, or new. I think you're new also. Yeah, I knew there was one other person I'd seen.
My name is Larry Bennett, and I have a Razor XT4 1000, and heard about the group because some friends of mine mentioned the Hills for Heroes ride. So I volunteered for that, and then while I was up there, I've been looking for a club to join because I'm retired and I can't find enough people to go with to do stuff with. So it looks like maybe I found it. Thanks.
You found enough now.
Again, welcome to all the new members. This is a really good group. It's a fun group. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of knowledge and experience here in the club. The one thing that we do is we make sure everybody enjoys the ride and gets back safely. That's my number one goal, is to get people out and enjoy different areas in our state. We have so many areas that we can ride, but bottom line, at the end of the day, I want to see everybody come back safe, nobody get hurt. So if you're ever on a ride, there's something you're not comfortable with, you don't be afraid to stop and say, hey, I need some help through this, because that's what we're there for. Most of us within the club have two-way radios that we're using, which, by the way, we're revamping because of the new FCC. Not really a new rule; it's an old rule that they're just starting to reinforce. But we've been running on the FRS and channels and that, and our radios are too powerful to run on those. So we have been looking at some different options, and I think one of the ones that we're really looking at is going to the channels that come on the Rugged radios. Those are owned by Rugged Radios and different off-road racing teams, but we're allowed to use them, so we're probably going to go that route.
Hey, just real fast, when you were talking about the Rugged Radios has given me a special account, and I'm not a dealer. I don't make a single penny on any Rugged Radio products, but they've given me this account to share with some of the guides for the Rally on the Rocks, and I can share it with whoever I want. So if anyone in here wants to get a 30% discount on anything Rugged, let me know.
Awesome, thank you.
Their prices are pretty expensive anyway, but it does save you for a full system about $700.
No, it's anytime we have something like that where people can save, a lot of us run the Bofang handhelds and that, but I have been finding that they do tend to be a little bit frail sometimes. I think the Rugged Radio is a little bit more, their handhelds a little bit, they've done a little bit more shock-proof on them, is what I've heard. Don't know whether that's true or not.
So it's the same radio. The 5-watt radio, it's the same as what you can buy from Amazon for $20.
Yeah.
They just put their name on it and their channels. The best radio, honestly, is just to get one that is a 60-watt radio from them, and you can reach for miles, I mean literal miles, not the supposedly 30 miles, but you can reach from the beginning of the group all the way through the end.
And that's kind of why we're looking at going with those channels that they have pre-programmed, because they are on those repeaters, and it's less of a line of sight issue and more, so, because that does become an issue at times when when we have 25 machines and I'm way out front, if there's a problem at the back, I don't always know about it.
Yeah.
Most of the time they can relay it to me, but if we have these options where we can get more of a direct from front to back, it's going to be a lot better system for us.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the radios have worked out tremendous, don't get me wrong, even running what we have, because we have been able to solve some issues that way.
Less in a bulk order, if we end up going that route. Would it be less in a bulk order?
The 30% off is probably
30% is probably the most we're gonna get, even if we get a bulk order on things. I mean, that's really a pretty good deal. That's, when you watch their sales, that's about the most you ever see is 30% off on their stuff. So that is a good thing, you know. And again, like we do have a member that did just get the 60 watt radio, which runs on the VHF frequency. So in order to be able to be in contact with him, we're going to have to run those frequencies that are on the VHF, which is the higher frequencies. And
Both things run on UHF.
yeah. So.
And they'll program a special radio frequency in it for you if you'd like.
Well, we can program them too. Randy and I both have the software to do it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got all the software to do those radios.
Yeah, and we'll put a post out and have everybody bring the radios into meetings and that, and we'll get everybody reprogrammed again. So we'll work on that. But I wanted to just remind everybody, we are going to do Hills for Heroes again this year. It'll be our 3rd year in October. And for those of you who aren't aware of it, what we do is we take veterans out around Wasatch Mountain State Park and take them up for the day, do lunch, and just really get them out into the hills. So if anybody would like to be on the committee planning and being a part of that,
What weekend is that?
we haven't got the exact date. It will probably be the 2nd weekend of October.
That's usually coordinated by the Wasatch State Park.
Yeah, it's actually a joint thing we do with Tracy and those guys up there. So if anybody would like to be on the committee and be help part of the planning, we'll also be calling for volunteers to obviously take the vets up there and support staff. But I think it'll be like it'll be our 3rd year, keep getting bigger and better. So anybody that wants to be part of that, just let me know.
Another small item here. We have a new person that's going to be doing our t-shirts and stuff for us. We kind of lost we had another person that was doing them for us, and that kind of went south on us. But so I have the list somewhere. I'll get it.
If not, I can call
Just
you.
talk to me before it's taken.
Yeah. Give it to him. I got it too. Anyway.
Okay, she's got the safety orange, the safety yellow, the pink, black, white, and the heather sport gray. We give the long sleeve, short sleeve right now. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the Heather Sport grid.
Oh. I don't like those colors.
Let's see it.
I don't like them. It didn't turn out how they should have. My printer's
If Steve can get it turned around the right way.
So when we get the printer back up and running, I'm gonna have to send it off to my maintenance guy. Those colors will be more vibrant and will pop. You'll actually be able to see the real royal blue and that maroon color a lot better.
In theory, once we get all the info, it'll be on the Facebook page and on the web page.
Yeah, all the information will be up with the prices.
Yeah, you'll be able to order right
And then
from
it'll
the
be
page.
cotton and the polyester. Yes, the cotton, people just have to remember those will be vinyl. And then the polyester, it essentially dyes the polyester fiber so it won't wash out as easily. But when we do the vinyl should outlast your shipping. Cool. Yeah.
Steve, one quick question. Do any of you snow skiers in the group?
What?
Snow skiers.
What's that?
Nope.
White stuff outside?
That's stuff where you put those sticks on your feet.
Yeah, you put the sticks on your feet to go down the hill.
Absolutely not.
Only Vern in the back is raising his hand.
Are you really?
What do you need?
Well, I have a neighbor who works for Ski Utah. She's actually the executive director of marketing. and they've agreed to give Ride for Life a donation. And I would just want to check if there are any snow skiers in the group, if I should pursue it.
Well, you'll always have, pursue anything. We've gave away a burial plot before, so don't be shy.
That's something everybody can use sometime in their life.
Sooner or later. So,
hopefully you don't use it today, you know.
Everybody, when you come in, when you get to the meetings and that, you always sign the roll, you know. And if you're a paid member, we keep track of who comes to the meetings twice a year. Every time you come to a meeting, if, you know, for a family or a single, your name gets put into a pot. Twice a year we draw for $50 cash. So it's beneficial to showing up for a meeting. So we're going to do the drawing for the last 6 months. Just reach in there and grab out a paper.
It's a new one.
Mark Ellison. Mark is not here. So anyway, he won the. No. You know, they used to do that. They used to do that, and I didn't really think that was right because people sometimes have reasons to not make it to a meeting. And if you can't make it to a meeting, we do have the YouTube channel. He's back there, he's filming the meeting right now, so, you know, if you ever can't make it to a meeting or you know somebody that just wants to see what the meetings are about, tell them to go to the YouTube channel. And then the room raffle for tonight. Go ahead, grab the ticket out of there. This one?
Laura.
Okay, whoever has this one,
I'm ready for like
821570.
my baby. I'm in charge of it now.
821570.
Okay, somebody.
They bought them right after me.
57.
But you know what?
Randy.
Like the 25th, we're going to
For
our ambassador child.
those that are new,
He's only born
when we do these room raffles and that,
his star raised.
after our rides, we always do a barbecue, or this time we're doing chili and soup. This is what pays, the club provides the meat and stuff for those
That's what
you know,
makes the whole ride.
after ride meals and that. So that's what it goes to, just so everybody knows up front.
Birthdays right on that weekend.
Don't ever feel like you have to purchase raffle tickets, because it's your option. It just helps the club out. Anybody have any questions on any of the rides?
And her husband and my son.
Any questions on this weekend's ride?
I'm like, you guys have got to be a part of this and see. So you understand.
You need to be there at 4 a.m.
So when the kids come out,
Actually, you can be there at 10:30. Catch me if you can.
So basically changed my granddaughter's birthday to the end of the month.
You've heard that before.
Yeah, so all my kids now are just.
I can go where you can't.
They're in it.
This is true.
It's worth it.
Very true.
I love doing it.
You ever heard the Rush song, Red Barchetta? I'll leave you stranded at the one lane bridge.
All of us are doing something that makes a huge difference.
You know, is any new legislation that's coming at us?
As far as I know, we don't have any new legislation coming this year. There may be one that we try to kill, but I think we've got them talked out of running it. But if it comes, for those of you that may or may not be aware, Utah did away with reciprocity agreements this year. But it's not just Utah that's done away with it. Arizona did away with theirs starting in September last year. So if you want to go to Arizona and ride, it's $30. If anybody comes from out of state to ride here, it's a $30 permit. With the exception of if you come here for a jamboree, you can ride during the jamboree without having to purchase the out-of-state permit. If you stay later than or come before, then they will need to purchase that out-of-state permit. I've got two clubs that are down on the border that are kind of in a unique situation. The Utah-Arizona Club has members on both sides of the border, and the Tri-State Club has members in Nevada and Arizona and Utah. So they're kind of in a unique situation. We are looking at, the OHV Association is looking at trying to help them maybe get a border states reciprocity agreement, but they're kind of taking it a bit further and trying to rescind HB 105, which did away with the reciprocity. I have a teleconference. Bruce will be in on it Wednesday night. I'm going to kill that. So I already know I have the votes in the association to kill it. If they so choose to have one of their state representatives run the bill anyway, I will be on Capitol Hill to kill it. It's not that I'm being vindictive, but there are reasons for it. You have, and this happens a lot, especially in those two clubs down there, where you go down and ride and you see Idaho plates, Montana plates. And those people keep those machines there all year long, but they register them out of state because it's cheaper. They're not going to do that anymore. If you're going to play on our trail system, use our resources, you're going to pay for it. I pay mine. I pay mine willingly. I go to Arizona, I'll willingly pay theirs. It's no different than if I hunt or fish. I don't go to another state and expect my license to be good there. It's the same thing with the registration. $30 is not a lot of money. It's not going to make or break somebody. So, but it will, by doing away with the reciprocity. They estimated $250,000 additional in our revenue to the trail systems. I'm estimating it's going to be even more than that because all these people that have been registering their machines out of state and riding, those people are now going to have to pay up. So, any other questions?
Does that apply to licensed machines as well?
To street legal? I'm really trying to get clarification, 100% clarification on that, but as far as I know, if you're street legal in another state, come to Utah to ride, I believe that you're still good. However, if you're street legal here and go to Arizona to ride, you have to buy the off-road permit in Arizona. You can ride on the street, but you can't ride on the dirt. Yeah, you can take your truck on the dirt, but you can't take an ATV, motorcycle. That's for a year. That's a calendar year. Any other questions? All right, again, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks, Roxanne, for coming. All right, have a good night, everybody.